So guys, remember how like a month or two back I read an essay by Benjamin Franklin where Benjamin Franklin was talking about how like Swedes were too ethnic and swarthy for America, and that America was truly a nation for only the pure white Anglo-Saxons. Do you guys remember that? It turns out that Matt Walsh is actually a huge fan of that line of thinking. Um, the Serfs has been able to unearth audio of Matt Walsh arguing that race and culture are the same thing. Like whiteness and white people, like white people have their own culture, black people have their own culture. You know, literally the color of your skin and your culture are inseparable. Um and yeah, he's in this audio arguing about the superiority of and the extinction of the pure white Anglo-Saxon. So the Serfs is in Lance. Yes, the Serfs is in Lance. That himbo indeed. Here we go.
Bringing the culture with them if they... Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to. That's what makes them Mexican. Of course they will. That is not...
I'm saying if they stop identifying themselves as just Mexicans and they start, appreciating the country that they currently reside.
What is the country? I mean,
America.
Well, then what does that mean? If you take away the Anglo-Saxon culture, which is what started this damn country...
Yeah, but you can
Sorry, not damn country.
You can adopt philosophy.
Yeah. So sorry for saying the word damn, but not sorry for talking about how. I need to clarify something with you people. There's a level of white supremacist where having like pale or pink skin isn't enough to make you white. There's a level of white supremacist where there is a more pure version of the white race. For, Nazi Germany, it was the Aryans. For Matt Walsh, it's the Anglo-Saxons. And this, by the way, is a very old conception of white race purity. That does indeed date back to the founding fathers, but makes it that the fact that it's old makes it no less reprehensible,
Philosophies is my point, so I'm confused by race or culture. Like, what are you promoting?
Both. You can't separate them. They're the same. What I'm saying is not like I'm making this up. This has just been the case. Go back through history. This is just the way it works. Is that a country is more than just a border. It's more than just a supply. If all America was just like a plot of land we happen to be sitting on, then it would mean nothing to me, okay? But because it's also identified with a way of thinking, a way of life, a culture, a philosophy, because that was all there, and it was an Anglo-Saxon thing.
Yeah. American thinking, American ideas, American way of life is not an Anglo-Saxon thing. This, by the way, Anglo-Saxon, again, is just his way of being able to say, America is a white thing. That is what he is saying. The culture, the ideas of America are white.
Then, that's what I identify with. It's not the location and the geography that I identify with. Yeah, I like the rolling hills and I like the purple mountains, majesty and all that too. But what I like most is the culture and philosophy that was distinctly Western Anglo-Saxon. And that's what it was. And so when...
As opposed to all of those Eastern Anglo-Saxons? Like, what?
These other groups come, and you say, well, as long as they don't bring but they have brought their culture with them. So you can say as long as they don't, but they have and they will continue to. So let's forget about that, because that's exactly what they're doing. And of course, why wouldn't they, when the original inhabitants, well, the original inhabitants, of course, were Native American, but forget about them for a second. Everyone else has. when the original inhabitants of at least the United States of America are dying off because we've decided we're too cool to have kids, then why wouldn't they bring their culture? Because there's a cultural void. What I'm saying is that when we die...
This is, I mean, first of all, this is definitionally racist. Second of all, the idea that there's a cultural void, there's not like a culture doesn't necessarily take up space. Culture is ideas and practices and, you know, food, and it encompasses a wide variety of things. The fact that there's not a cultural void just because there is, like, percentage-wise less white people in America. There are, by the way, still more white people in America. Like, the white population keeps getting bigger. It's just that the percentage of, like, the full population is less white because there are more, you know, black and brown and indigenous people in America, too. You know, it's... Saxon is in Germany right now. Well, yeah, but the Anglo-Saxon is, like, a particular subgroup of British person. You know, like, that's... It was a very niche cultural identity that then got turned into a racial identity by a lot of the people who came to America and wanted to be very racist against other white people. Oh, Saxon the band? Okay, whatever. I don't know music. You know that. This is so disgusting. Oh, yeah. This is, it sounds like this is from when he was a radio DJ. Which, by the way, how fucked in the head do you have to be where your shock jock co-host is like, man, you're coming across as pretty racist right now, man.
Die off as we have been. We have left a cultural void. And that void will be filled with this other hodgepodge of cultures. And I'll tell you something else. When you have just a geographical location, when there's no agreement at all,
and it continues
on what's important to you, what your values are, and all that, that country cannot exist for very long. And that's where civil wars come.
Well, so Little Morphine Annie. That's the thing, right? For any, like, for any group of people that is obsessed with, like, racial purity, mixed race people present, like, an existential threat and, like, a representation of that existential threat, right? And it's why mixed race people oftentimes in America get, like, the short end of the stick from multiple different groups at a time, you know? And it sucks, and it shouldn't be that way. And, like, people like Matt Walsh make that so much worse, you know? Oh, is this not a private conversation? This might be a private conversation between him and his co-host, but, like, it might also just be recovered audio from his show.
Come from. That's why we fought the Civil War to begin with, was because there was a cultural difference between the North and the South. And we're going to be heading that way again if we don't say, okay, this is who we are.
This was on air? Okay.
And by the way, the people saying this is who we are need to be plentiful and strong.
I agree.
And potent.
I just personally feel that you don't...
Yeah, the Anglo-Saxons of America need to be plentiful and strong and potent.
Have to be an Anglo-Saxon to continue that line of thought. I just think people need to be more patriotic about the country in which they live, know more about its heritage and where it came from and how it sprang about. I mean, like, like I married somebody that's, I don't think Maria's Anglo-Saxon, and she definitely has left her culture at the door. So, I mean,
Man, what a weird thing to say about your partner. Like, yeah, I'm glad my partner left their culture at the door when they came to America. I'm glad my partner abandoned a huge piece of themselves that was important when they came to America. What the fuck, dude? What's wrong with you? Yeah, exactly. Prancing goldfish, quiverful. Unironically, though, you like use that in air quotes, but unironically, people from the Daily Wire have been making a lot of comments recently about outbreeding the left. Michael Knowles just the other day did like a segment on abortion reversal pills, and which obviously don't work, but he prefaced it by talking about how the right needs to outbreed the left. Unironically, these are like quiverful Catholics. It's gross. Yeah, no, it's a Roro. Yeah, Daily Wire hosts are hawking basically pseudoscientific methods of reversing an abortion. Yeah. How does someone reverse an abortion? The premise would be like someone takes like a medication based abortive, and then there's like a 1 to 2 day window, and then they suddenly feel a ton of regret, so they take this abortion reversal pill. That's it ideally, or their partner, forces them to take the abortion reversal pill, but also they don't work, so it just it is what it is. It's basically they're just selling junk science. But also, Little Morphine Annie, I hope you know that I will always stand with the mixed race people of my community, because frankly, I've seen the shit you guys get, and it's unconscionable. And I want to make sure that this place will always be safe for you guys. Don't work and can hurt you very badly. True. All right, we got a couple more of these, though. We got a couple more minutes of this.
Maria, I have 5 kids. Like, now I'm confused. Am I perpetuating the problem, or
no, see, you keep bringing this up, and it makes me look like I'm making some racist point. I know you say that's what you're.
Wow, you keep saying this, and it makes me look like a huge fucking racist. Well, yeah. That's because even your co-host on the Shock Jock radio program knows that you're a fucking racist, dude, because you're talking about, like, again, this is just a continuation of what we talked about yesterday, where he was doing essentially the 14 words, securing a future for the white race or whatever. Yeah, you look like a racist because you are a racist. Yeah,
you're trying to do, but I just bringing this up, and it makes me look like I'm making some racist point. I know you say that's what you're trying to do, but I just that's obviously not what I'm saying. Have relations and kids with whoever you fall in love with. That's great, as long as they're the same gender. I'm fine with that. All you fall in love with, that's great, as long as they're the same gender.
What?
Have relations and kids with whoever you fall in love with. That's great, as long as they're the same gender.
As long as as long as you're the same gender. What? That. Oh, as long as the kids are the same gender, or like, was he making like a weird? Okay, whatever.
I'm fine with that. All I'm saying is that as a general rule, for our culture.
Unless they're the same gender. Yeah. Okay.
And our identity to continue, we need to just procreate and keep that culture going. Because you say, well, come over here and have some patriotism and identify with us. Why should they identify with us when we don't identify with us? When it's not even important enough to us to procreate and continue our culture, why should they give a damn about it? They don't. I don't blame them. I mean, what?
They don't give a damn about the United States. They're brown. Their skin is brown.
Exact philosophy and values have we shown that are so important to us.
But I mean, I think the point is that if you're patriotic Americans that love the country, that have ingrained themselves in this country for several generations, need to start promoting more generations of people.
But it's easy to say these vague things like, well, promote and do this and that. But it's the reality. If we actually want to talk about how to solve the problem, It's real simple, but it involves us all actually doing something, which, like I said a million times now, is frankly just having kids and passing that down to your kids.
Yeah, really all of this race mixing is robbing us of our ability to pass on our culture to our kids via our skin color. And everyone knows skin color is where the culture is contained. What? What? Holy shit, dude.
If you don't do that, then you're not helping the problem. Sorry, you're not. You're not helping. I mean, we can all say how we'll just promote the values of this and that. But the way you promote values is to have children and pass it on to them. And if you don't do that, then it's just vague platitudes that mean nothing. I'm sorry. It's just what it is.
Okay, so the way you pass on culture is literally by making children, and therefore race mixing or children of people of other races are diluting the culture of America. Gotcha, Matt.
And I'm no exemption from that. I mean, if I'm 40 and I haven't had a single kid, then I haven't helped.
Culture is stored in the balls.
I'm just talking in general. The way in general that this country will reclaim itself, that's the way. Or we can become extinct. If that's the route we choose, then hey, it was a good run. Got a good 300 years out of it, almost. If you don't do that, then you're not helping the problem. Sorry.
Jesus Christ, dude. Dude, like, seriously, when I call these people white supremacists, sometimes there are people in the audience who are like, whoa, he's not a white supremacist. He's not... Whoa, like, list one thing he said that's white supremacist. And it's just like, he says this stuff all the time. It's not hard to see. You can just watch what he makes. Listen to what he makes. The words he uses and what they mean.